Alrighty. Can I get your attention? Andrew. Thank you. Um, Welcome everybody. Hope everybody had good sessions yesterday and fun at the reception last night. We have quite a few scheduled sessions for today, so take a look at Schedule. Again, same rules apply today as yesterday as far as the unconference. If you have a topic that you want to follow up with from discussions that you had yesterday, or there's something that you would like to, again, get a group of folks together to talk about, even if you know that there are 4 people and you've already talked to those 4 people and you're going to go talk, please still put a sticky out on the board with where you're going to meet and when, because there may very well be others that are interested in that topic as well. So this is how we can advertise what all the topics are that are being discussed while we're here. And again, to do that, there's a board out at the registration desk, stickies and Sharpies. Fill one out, pick a spot that's open to put the sticky, and at least by the time a break starts or lunch starts, they'll be actually transcribing what's on the board into Schedule so that everybody will know. So for everybody that wants to know what topics are going on or what discussions are going on, keep looking at Schedule. All right. I wanted to take a little bit of time this morning and talk about everybody's topic or everybody's favorite topic, IPR. I know that intellectual property rights are, riveting to most developers, and I just wanted to take this opportunity first thing in the morning to just get everybody's blood pumping with the excitement of an IPR talk. And mostly what I really wanted to do was just make everybody aware that we have a tool within Jenkins called Sonatype CLM, or Component Lifecycle Manager. And this has been running in our build now for quite a while. Throughout the Beryllium release, I've been playing with the policy rules so that we can get to a point where the information that comes out of the tool is actually quite usable for everybody. Originally, when we first launched CLM, it was set up for a typical conservative company that wanted to be very careful about what copyleft software they were using. So for example, everything was marked red because the EPL is a soft copyleft, and so their default policy is not to use it. So I've been hacking on these policies to try to make it as usable for all the different project teams as possible. And again, I just wanted to make everybody aware that these reports are coming out, and they're good, useful information to those that are, again, developing across our project. Can I see a show of hands for people that are familiar with the CLM tools, just so I know where I'm starting? Who's been using CLM or looked at those reports? Okay, a few people. So again, and this is what I expected, right? So again, we haven't really been advertising it strongly as something to use, mostly because, again, these policy rules have been spitting out lots of false positives. And there's lots of information in there that isn't helpful. But that has now changed, and CLM does 2 particular things that are of interest to folks. One is, again, it talks about licenses. It'll raise a flag if a license is potentially questionable. And so if you see one of these pop up from one week to the next in your report, and it shows up red, feel free to give me a holler, ask a question. Is this something that's okay? Is this something I should be worried about? And I'll show you a few of these just so that you can see what they look like. The other thing that it does, it actually reports out security vulnerabilities. All right. This can be very helpful for us all as we are bringing in new components, or as new vulnerabilities are detected out in the wild. They end up going up to a variety of vulnerability databases that this tool checks. And so if a version of a component that we're using matches some vulnerability that's been reported, it'll actually tell us what that is, right? So we get relatively immediate feedback for new vulnerabilities that have been posted. So keeping an eye on that also is something that is very worthwhile. And if you see something in your report that is showing up there, particularly if it's in red, you might want to send a note to the security team and say, hey, I've now got this in my component. I'd like to know, I'd like to work with you basically to know if this is serious or not. And I say it that way because a lot of the components may show up in an offset 1 or offset 2 project, but it's actually because you're pulling in stuff that was from an offset 0 project. So you might know about the component, and hence you'd want to understand how it's actually used within OpenDaylight to know if it's actually a security vulnerability concern for us or not. And again, the security team can help us out with that. We are trying to keep an eye on it, particularly for vulnerabilities that pop up across the board. Again, often they are false positives, and I have to admit, I have yet to figure out how to get a false positive to stop showing up on our reports. That's the one thing I haven't figured out yet. And we have, for example, a few red flags that are out of those reports right now that we know are false positives, and I still need to figure out a way to shut the policy down so that it doesn't show up in the reports anymore. That's an ongoing one for me. But anyway, so yeah, so again, it's under the, if you go to Jenkins, one of the tabs at the top is CLM, and then inside of that is your typical Jenkins type of report with lots and lots of CLM jobs. And you run one of those, and again, you can see there are a few that have one violation that's red. And this isn't uncommon. Like I said, there's you'll see one for a security violation, that's it's Apache Commons is the one that's been showing up on us. But most of these reports, again, show some yellows, show some orange, and then maybe one red, and that's again, typically that's our policy violation for a security. And all I'm asking here is just to kind of take a look at it. We will probably add a question, probably at the end of feature freeze, and maybe ask again at the end of code freeze, just if you've taken a look at that report and that report looks okay to you. Again, I'm looking mostly, it's nothing that you need to directly react with other than take a look. If there's something that you see that you don't necessarily understand, give me a holler. And I realized yesterday that I actually didn't introduce myself. I'm Robb, for anybody that's in the room that doesn't know me. So you can find my name on lots of different mailing lists, but just give me a holler, and I'll help you out with deciphering the report, as well as doing my best to get rid of any false positives that are on your report. So that's really all I had. Do we have any questions on CLM or its value or when and why you'd use it? All right, cool. Then with that, let's go ahead and we'll get the session started. I think, what time do they start, guys? Is it 9:20? Okay. All right. So cool. Very good. So yes, 9:20 session start. So it is now. So I should shut up and get off the stage, and we'll start the important information. All right. Thanks, guys.